right, today we're going to talk about 3 phrases that will kill your new real estate deal. Or maybe 3 phrases you never, ever, 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 ever want to say to a seller on the first phone call. Think about it like this, ladies. You're out here talking to these sellers and you know all sorts of new real estate terms, you know all sorts of real estate tricks, you know all sorts of tips and tidbits, and you're just really excited about the real estate deals, right? Well, I want you to back up a second because you got to remember that this might be the first time that a seller's ever heard of some of this stuff. Or this might be the 86th time somebody has asked this same seller for this deal. All right? So you just don't know where the seller is until you start asking some questions to the seller. All right? So the first phrase to avoid at all costs, I don't want you to ask your seller how much they owe on their mortgage. Because that could be a little personal, and sellers start to put up defenses, and then they don't want to answer the rest of the questions, right? So yes, you need to know how much they owe on this house, or if they owe anything on this house. But there's some other ways that you could say, what do you owe on this mortgage? Without saying, what do you owe on your mortgage? All right? I did a whole other video on different phrases that you can use instead of straight up asking, what's your mortgage balance? Ugh. So you'll want to check out that other video. But please, 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 please stop coming right out of the gate and looking for the kill on these deals. Stop asking for the mortgage payoff balance in the first 3 seconds. I mean, could you imagine going on a date and before the main course even arrived, he asked you to marry him? There's some other ways to go about these questions, but the first step is to start knowing which ones to avoid asking. There's other ways to say the same thing, but stop asking for the mortgage payoff balance. Those 3 words should not be in the conversation. Ugh. Whew. All right, shake that one off. Y'all ready for the second phrase that you should never, ever, 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 ever say to your sellers? If you know me, this one may sound weird at first, but hang on, it'll get better. The second phrase that you should never bring up on the very first phone call with your seller is if they're willing to do a lease option. Oh, no, 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 no. Most people don't know what a lease option is. So don't confuse them. Don't confuse them. As adults, we have this thing called pride. And a lot of adults are really, really smart in their profession. And even people that do real estate all day, every day, like real estate agents, they just don't know what a lease option is or why it's beneficial or how amazing it could be. So instead of, again, getting your seller's defenses up, just avoid that phrase. Don't ask them if they want to do a lease option because their answer is no. I want to ask yes questions because the more I can get them in a rhythm of saying yeah, yeah, yes, then when I ask a hard question, they're going to go, yeah. I don't understand. What does that mean? All right? Don't ask no questions. And when you ask, do you want to do a lease option with me? That's going to be a hard no. Again, I got another video that'll explain different ways that we can ask if they want to do a lease option without actually asking if they want to do a lease option. And it's just that phrase, guys. I just don't want you to say that phrase. I don't want you to lie to anybody. I just want you to avoid confusing your seller. Check out that other video if you want to know some other ways to say it without saying it. You know what I mean? All right. So, the last phrase that you should never, ever ask on the very first phone call with a seller: would you like to owner finance this deal for me with no money down and not check my credit? People actually say that to sellers on the first phone call. And you're laughing right now, aren't you? Because, oh my gosh, how ridiculous would that be? That'd be like getting a blind date set up, and he calls you the day before and he's like, hey, instead of going on this date, how about we just go get hitched? And you're like, dude, I don't even know you. That's how your seller feels. Think about it. Nobody wants to just give somebody else their house with no money, no credit, no banks, none of this stuff. Like, how is that a win for your seller? It's not. And that's why we should never, ever ask the seller if they want to owner finance us with no money and no credit on the very first phone call. There's a time and a place for him to propose. There's a time and a place for you to bring up the conversation with the seller. But on the very first phone call, that's not the place. And that's not the time. So don't get your cart before your horse, all right? On the very first phone call, it's like a scavenger hunt. You're going and you're digging and you're trying to find buried treasure. You're letting them know that you're just a girlfriend out trying to buy houses and that you can help them. There's no pressure to make offers. There's no pressure to get these, yes, come steal my house from me kind of sellers. It's not like that, ladies. Don't ask them if they want to take owner financing. Don't confuse them with this fancy real estate terminology, and don't scare them wanting to know down to the penny how much they owe on this house that they love and adore. There's other ways to get started in real estate than to scare off your best leads. And I'll teach you how to do it in First Deal Done Fast. It's a self-study program that I have. This video was presented by First Deal Done Fast. And if you're the kind of lady that wants some more individual attention, I have a one-on-one program. Yes, people actually still do one-on-one coaching and one-on-one mentorship. I only do one-on-one coaching and mentorship for ladies. So if you want to know more, go to whitneynicely.com. You'll find all the information about one-on-one and First Deal Done Fast there. Or you can go to firstdealdonefast.com to just check out First Deal Done Fast. It's the foundation for everything. Let me know if y'all have any questions, and stay tuned for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe too, so that you'll be involved on all of these tips that I'm handing out every week right here.